I thought I was just inspecting an abandoned house, but beneath the porch I found a starving dog, and behind her, four fragile lives barely hanging on. I thought I was there to save them, but what I didn't know is that they were about to save me. The air smelled like rusted metal and old bitter dust. A stillness hung over the land, like it had forgotten how to breathe. I was there to inspect an abandoned house on the outskirts of Houston, just another condemned structure waiting for its final breath. But something about this place felt wrong, like it was holding its breath, too. The porch groaned beneath my boots as I stepped forward, its boards sagging under years of neglect. Paint peeled from the wood like dried skin. A wind moved through the weeds, whispering secrets in a language I didn't understand. The silence wasn't peaceful, it was watchful. Ever feel like you're not alone, even when you're the only soul in sight? Then I felt it. A weight, a stare, eyes that reached through the dark and clutched the back of my neck. I turned, slowly, and saw her. What I saw next stopped me cold. She sat beneath the porch, tucked into a nest of shadow and broken lattice. A German shepherd, barely more than bones wrapped in fur. Her ribs pressed like piano keys against her skin, each breath a struggle. But it wasn't fear in her eyes. It was something far worse. She didn't growl, didn't bark, just stared unmoving. Her eyes dim but sharp, like glass dulled by time. Eyes that didn't ask for help because they'd stopped believing in it. I crouched, slow and low. "Hey, girl," I murmured, voice barely louder than the wind. No response, just that steady, heartbreaking gaze. Then from the darkness behind her, a sound. A sound so small you could miss it if your heart wasn't listening. A whimper, then another. Something stirred in the shadows. That's when I realized she wasn't alone. Four small shapes shifted behind her. Puppies, fragile, still, fading. One lay curled around a scrap of red fabric, a child's sock maybe, a ghost of innocence. Their lives hung in the air like dust, one breath away from vanishing. I backed away slowly. My heart thudded against my ribs, louder than my footsteps. Back at the truck, I grabbed the leftover sandwich from lunch. Turkey, bread. I slid it toward her, inch by inch across the dry ground. Would she trust me? Could she afford to? She didn't eat it. Instead, she picked it up gently in her mouth and carried it back to her pups. Every movement said, "They eat first." That's when I knew. This wasn't just a dog. She was a mother, fighting for the last of her hope. "I'll be back tomorrow," I whispered, voice catching in my throat. She didn't blink, didn't move, just stared. And in her eyes I saw it, the fear that tomorrow never comes. But I meant it. God help me. I meant every word. I arrived before the sun did. The sky was still dark, just a bruise of purple on the horizon. The world felt quieter than yesterday, like it knew what was waiting. Some mornings don't start with light. They start with a choice. Luna was still there, curled protectively around her babies, her eyes tracking my every step. But she didn't rise, didn't flinch. She knew me now, maybe even trusted me. It's strange how fast survival teaches trust, or maybe it just remembers kindness. In my hands, I carried food, water, and an old towel that smelled like home. I laid them down gently, speaking in soft tones. She let me sit close, close enough to feel her breathing. No words were spoken, but a silent agreement passed between us. The pups stirred, weak but alive, tiny bodies latching onto hope with trembling mouths. All except one little heartbeat already drifting away. He lay near the edge, curled around that same red sock. He lifted his head once, barely, and let it fall again. His breaths were shallow, spaced too far apart. He wasn't just hungry, he was fading. I didn't think, I just moved. Slow, deliberate, every action a silent promise to Luna. She watched as I placed the little one in a box lined with warm blankets, and she let me. No growl, no protest, just tired, ancient eyes that seemed to say, "Please, save him." I whispered, "I'll bring him back." Even if I didn't know if that was true. Sometimes all you can offer is hope, wrapped in a whisper. At the vet, time blurred. Tests, fluids, gentle hands moving quickly, trying to outrun the damage. Dehydration, starvation, infection. The vet's words cut like cold steel. He wouldn't have made it through the night, she said. I sat with the little one. Rusty, I called him, while machines beeped softly beside us. In my hands, I held that sock. Just a scrap of fabric. But to him, it was everything. Comfort, memory, maybe even love. Sometimes survival clings to the smallest things. And in that sterile room, I knew one thing with absolute clarity. I couldn't leave the rest behind. Not Luna, not her babies, not after this. Because once you choose to care, there's no going back. The next day, I came back with a crate in the truck bed, clean, padded, and ready. The morning air was soft this time, warmer, almost forgiving. Luna stood waiting by the porch, her body thin, her eyes tired, but clear, and for the first time, she looked at me, not through me. We locked eyes. No growl, no fear, just something quiet and raw. Trust, maybe, or the beginning of it. Sometimes the bravest thing isn't to fight, it's to follow. I opened the crate and crouched low, offering space, not force. She sniffed the entrance, glanced back at her pups, then stepped inside. No hesitation, no fear, just silent strength. And one by one, her pups followed their mother into a new kind of future. At the shelter, the staff moved quickly but gently, especially Renee, a woman whose hands spoke louder than words ever could. She helped me settle the family in a quiet corner, away from the noise. Even in rescue, peace is something you have to create. Luna paced at first, nerves tight. But then I brought Rusty back, his little body wrapped in fresh bandages, IV still tucked into his leg. The moment she saw him, she stopped. No cry, no bark. Just a quiet sigh, like the world had righted itself. For days I came. Every morning, before work, every evening, after. I brought toys, clean blankets, sat on the floor and just existed with them. Because healing isn't loud. It's presence, patience, time. The pups grew stronger. Rusty started to eat on his own. Even barked once. A dry, surprising sound. And Luna? She began to rest. To truly rest. And when a mother sleeps, it means her babies are safe. One afternoon, as I filled their bowls, Renee sat beside me. She smiled, gentle, knowing. You've been here every day, she said. Do you want to make it official? My heart knew the answer before my mouth could form the words. She handed me a clipboard with adoption papers clipped to it. Names, signatures, a future scribbled in ink. And I didn't hesitate, not for a second, because some promises don't need to be spoken to be real. The first night in my house was chaos wrapped in joy. Luna padded through every room like a soldier clearing the perimeter. Her ears stayed perked, eyes scanning each shadow, each hallway. She wasn't looking for comfort. She was making sure this place was safe. The pups, Rusty, Shadow, Daisy, and Ace, turned the living room into their personal jungle gym. They slid on hardwood floors, tumbled into couch legs, barked at their own reflections. For the first time, they weren't surviving. They were living. Freedom doesn't always come with fireworks. Sometimes it arrives on tiny, clumsy paws. Rusty still had that sock. He dragged it with him wherever he went, like a badge of survival. At night, he curled around it, as if it still held the scent of the old world. Some scars stay soft, but they remind us where we came from. Luna finally chose her spot by the front door. She didn't sleep much that first night, just rested with one eye open, still protecting, still waiting for the danger to return. It takes time to teach a heart that it's safe now. But the days passed. Meals became routine. Walks turned into sprints through the backyard. And little by little, Luna stopped standing guard and started playing. When a soul lets go of fear, it makes room for joy. Her ribs vanished beneath a new coat of glossy fur. She rolled in the grass. She barked at squirrels. She let the sun touch her belly. And for the first time, she was not a stray. She was home. Then, the knock. Hard, official, cold. A man from the city stood on the porch with a clipboard and a badge. Peace has a way of being interrupted. He said I'd taken the dogs illegally, that there were procedures, papers, fines. He didn't care about wagging tails or healed ribs, just rules. And for a moment, the warmth of our little world felt like it might collapse. But sometimes love speaks louder than law. Luna stepped forward. She didn't growl, didn't bark, just stood tall beside me, regal and unshaken. Rusty was beside her, sock in his mouth, tail gently wagging. You didn't need to explain, you just needed to see. Then Renee appeared, firm, clear-eyed. She stood between me and the man, arms crossed. Look at them, she said. This is where they belong. Some truths don't need defending, they just need to be witnessed. The man glanced at Luna, at the pups, at me, and without another word he turned and walked away. No signature, no warning, just silence. Because even the coldest hearts know when they're outmatched by love. I used to think rescue was a one-way street. You show up, you save something broken, you walk away changed, but whole. But I was wrong, because sometimes the ones you think you're saving are the ones who save you right back. Luna came to me thin, silent, and full of shadows. Now she lies beside me on the porch like she owns the stars. Her eyes no longer search for danger, they rest. That's how healing looks. Quiet, complete, undeniable. The yard echoes with laughter now, small paws thumping through grass, joyful yips chasing each other like fireflies. Daisy chews everything in sight. Shadow climbs anything vertical. Ace thinks he's king of the world. And Rusty is still the heart of it all. He survived the impossible and somehow never stopped believing in tomorrow. That little red sock is still with him. It's faded now, worn thin at the edges, stained with memory. But he carries it everywhere. His comfort, his shield, his story. We all have something we cling to. His just happens to fit in his mouth. Some nights when the world slows down, I sit with Luna on the porch. The air is warm, the stars soft, and for the first time in years, my mind is quiet. It's in the silence where the truth settles in. They came from a place of dust and hunger, forgotten by the world. But now they have names, beds, bellies full of food, futures. They have me, and I have them. And love, when it's real, doesn't feel like a rescue. It feels like coming home. I've learned more from them than I ever taught. From Luna, strength without sound. From Rusty, hope in the shape of a sock. They reminded me that even the broken can build something beautiful. So here we are, one man, one mother, 4 pups, and a porch that smells like peanut butter treats. Not perfect, not planned, but absolutely right. Because some things, like family, like love, are worth holding on to.